Hey guys, what's up? Yeah, it's 7:36 in the morning, and if the picture looks a little bit clearer, if not a little bit nicer, it's because I'm using my new uh, roofer, or roofer. That's roofer, roof fee, roofer. It's R. I think it's spelled. Hold on, let me check here. It's spelled Rofeer. Roofie, roofer. I guess that's what it's called, roofer. 1080p webcam, which I recently got in the mail via UPS from Amazon. Of course, you saw me unpack this during my recent package opening, and I tested it out. Of course, I did a little test stream and all that, and everything seemed to work good. The mic was good. And if you go on Amazon and you look this up under Rofeer, it's like I said, that's ROFF. I mean, that's ROFF. I think it's no, it's Rofeer. If you go into Rofeer or Rofi, 1080p webcam, you'll notice that it's got a 5-star rating. And I only paid about $29.95 for this, and a lot of people have said that's pretty good. Those that already bought this camera or cameras like it have said that this brand at this price is actually pretty good. It's basically, if I can give you a description here, it's got a built-in mic, which you can probably hear. It's 1080p at 30 frames per second. I think the 60 frames is a little bit more. It's just and you don't need any drivers. You don't need to install any kind of like disc or, well, not disc, but CD, or you don't have, which would, basically when you used to get webcams, you used to have like a CD that would come in with it, and you'd have to use that CD to install the drivers and everything connected to it. This is more along the lines of plug and play, and it works. So it's got a plug and play. It's perfect for like video calling if you like to use it for Zoom, live chats on Zoom, Facebook's new creator rooms or message rooms and stuff like that. It's got a wide angle, which you could probably see. It also has optical lens. Yes, it has an optical lens, as they put it. I think they even describe it a little bit. Let me see. But yeah, it's got an optical lens. It's got a lot of stuff here. So let me see. It's got 95-degree large wide angle of view. It kind of basically shows that, let's say you're in a conference, it gets a majority of people on one end, but on the other end, it probably doesn't get everybody, but it gets what you need. It's got a 1080p HD sensor, which means it's SLR principal, optical lens, 95-degree wide angle, full HD, digital microphone, and there's no need for a driver. Basically, it's a major upgrade. And then it shows you how to basically connect it to the back of your monitor, like what I did here, or to your TV. It also comes basically with a screw underneath, so you can put it onto a tripod if you want to, or if you can find a way to balance it on a tripod without screwing it in, then there you go. The cable is very long. In fact, it's one of the longest cables I've seen in a while. I think honestly, if I was to place this camera maybe up here just enough, I don't know how long it is just yet to test that out. But if I was to place it up here somewhere, there, basically, I'd probably be able to do a live stream like from virtually anywhere in the room. Well, not anywhere in the room, but like from certain parts. Might even be able to do like live package openings or live review. And if you have to know, what I'm drinking right now is the cafe mocha from Starbucks. And no, it's not paid or anything, but just thought I'd show you that. And of course, the reason I'm also up is because, I went to bed and I didn't go to bed late. Because I haven't gone to bed late or anything. I didn't go to bed late. Well, I did, but not technically, kind of deal. Basically, had to keep an eye on my dog, of course, because it's the 4th of July weekend. Yesterday was the official, I guess you could say, the semi kind of like prologue start of the 4th of July weekend, because if you look at some calendars, they basically state it's the 4th of July weekend started yesterday, Independence Friday. And the reason they say that's when it started is because a lot of people had yesterday off due to the fact that yesterday was the 3rd, which runs into the 4th today, and then the 5th is tomorrow, and then the 6th, of course, Monday, which some may have off and some may have to go back to work on. And hello, Isaman. I'm sorry if I pronounced that name. IE, I'll just call you IE for short. No, I have not got Sonic Gems Collection, but I do have Sonic Mega Collection Plus, and I have not unlocked all the games yet. Although I've had, I think, both. I think I have the PS2 version somewhere in the other room. But anyway, getting back on topic, like I said, didn't go to bed. I mean, I did go to bed late, a little after 2 or something like that. But, that's why I'm up now. It's also because I've been getting up a lot earlier at times because of my schedule and, stuff like that. Anyway, the other reason, of course, like I said, it's Independence Weekend, and as everybody knows, people have been setting off fireworks, legal ones, illegal ones, like M80s and stuff. And like I said, I have to keep an eye on my dog, just like a lot of you have to keep an eye on your pets, because basically this scares them. And we pretty much figured that the best thing to do is when you're gone, especially today, is if you have, training pads or any kind of pet pads, if you will, is just to lay them down like you would do, let's say, if you're going to work for for several hours and such. Put the mats down where they could be put down, where they needed to be put down. And then basically turn on music, sound, in areas where they're going to feel more safe. Like my room here, I may have to turn on my speakers, at least for the day, or for the night. May have to do the same thing in the rec room, if you will. And then, of course, got the other rooms with the other TVs as well. We'll have to turn on the speakers there so that it kind of drowns out a little bit of what's going to be happening. She does have a certain section in one of the rooms where she goes into the dressing closet, as we would call it, to hide and protect herself. And I think the more the music drowns it out, the better. So basically, and they do recommend put on music, that kind of stuff, and it should work. Keep them hydrated and stuff, it should work. Keep them indoors, and it should work. And like I said, they've been doing it here in New. Like I said, here in Newman, they've been doing it over the past week, if you will. Like I said, they've been doing it for over the past week. And like I said, they've been doing it here in Newman for the past week. And basically, a couple of days ago, and I mentioned this in the channel update that I did before work. I think it was it Tuesday? Yeah, it was Tuesday, I think. Yeah, it was Tuesday. Basically, I had to go in early that day to work, and long story short, the night before, of course, we have people a couple of houses down that was setting off some illegals, and long story short, what happened, what anybody's worried about would happen, indeed happened. There was a couple of M80s, as I pretty much describe it, that went off. That pretty much, I think, the second time one was set off, caused a fire. It caused a fire a couple of houses down in the backyard. Thankfully, there was neighbors that were quick to act, and of course, the fire department got called. And even though they got called, a couple of days later, they continued doing it. So my thought process is these people just like to, is that they wait. It's like when somebody calls the police on them, or the non-emergency number for the police, so the fire department, when they call those numbers and all that, that's basically when, they start hearing the sirens and all that. That's when people like those that like to shoot off these illegals that can cause, like, let's say, a fire in the back, on a grassy background or something like that. That's when they stop, and then they wait until like the sirens are gone, things a little calm down, and then they resume. And then when they hear it again, it's like they just, like they're trying. It's like a game of chess, I guess you can say. It's more like who can checkmate who before this all stops. So anyway, though, wanted to come on here and talk about a few topics on this 4th of July weekend, or 4th of July day, officially 4th of July. And those topics are, and I do apologize for any interruption. Okay. But anyway, those topics are: one, and it kind of relates to what I just talked about. Should people wait till the actual / official 4th of July to set off fireworks? Or actual, I put actually officially 4th of July to set off fireworks. I'll have to correct that. To the actual official 4th of July to set off fireworks. That's the first topic. Should people wait till the actual official 4th of July to set off fireworks? Number 2, Zootopia tops the Avengers at the box office over the past weekend. We'll get into that. Number 3, Sonic the Hedgehog fans have a hashtag Rally for Sally campaign going online on social media right now. Get into that. And then for the fourth and last one for this 4th of July morning, this 4th of July Saturday morning, the IrateGamer finally crossing over with the angry video game nerd. Yeah, we're going to talk about that. Yeah, that's something to talk about as well. So yeah, that's actually something to talk about as well. So let's start off with the first topic, shall we? And that is, should people wait until the actual / official 4th of July to set off fireworks? And honestly, folks, I think they should. I mean, look, I'm all for, wanting to celebrate a little early, wanting to keep the kids busy and all that. I'm all for that. Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. I'm all for that. I'm not saying I'm not for it. I am for it. Okay. I'm all for that. But honestly, guys, what was it? Honestly, in my opinion, and I was just focusing on something that I was typing in what I'm going to link this up at. But my honest opinion, guys, is when it comes to the holidays, you should at least wait. At least, wait for. How do I put this? I'd say at least. I would. This is the way I look at it, guys. Like I said, I have nothing. I have nothing against wanting to. Like I said, I have nothing against wanting to, keep kids busy, celebrate early a little bit, especially let's say if you're on vacation. I totally understand that. I totally get it. But here's the thing. Here's the thing. Do you really want to have, how do I put this? And it's early too, so I do apologize. Um, but how would you feel if somebody calls on you because you're setting off fireworks or illegals, M80s and stuff like that, early, shaking up the neighborhood, keeping people up? How would you feel if all of a sudden the cops come around and they issue a citation to you saying you can't do any fireworks on the 4th because you're not doing it responsibly? Or if they catch you doing it one more time before the 4th, you're not going to be able to, do them anymore or do them on that day. How would you feel? You wouldn't like that if that was to happen. Not saying it would, but you wouldn't like that if it was to happen. The point is, in my opinion, like I said, I have nothing against wanting to, keep like the young kids busy, but shoot off little ones that may shake up the animals a bit, but not to the point that they're freaking out or the next morning they are throwing up, if you will, or they're kind of spitting up a little bit, a lot of puke. Well, not a lot of puke, but a tiny bit of puke. Like my dog this morning woke me up. Oh, when I woke up early, my dog was still sleeping, but then she woke up. She went to the bathroom, but she started to heave a little bit, like she was getting ready to throw up. And when she came back in, I thought, okay, she did her business. And then what happens? All of a sudden, she starts heaving again, and a little bit of mucus, a little bit of puke comes out because of the fact that these people can't wait. Just because people, I should say, can't wait to the 4th of July to, you know, to set them off and do it in a responsible way. They want to do it, right here and there. And here's another thing too. You know what you guys are doing? You know what these people are doing, honestly, by not waiting to the actual / official 4th of July day? Is they're wasting their money. They're wasting their money on what they spent for fireworks and illegals. Now, I'm sure some of you might say, well, maybe that's why they're doing it. Maybe that's why they're setting off the illegals, so that way they don't get in trouble on the 4th for setting off illegals and all that. And look, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that at all. Okay? What I'm saying is be more considerate. If you want to set off illegals, go to an empty parking lot or something where there's nothing around, because there are those around here or in those areas you live. Go to an empty vicinity, no buildings, just an empty parking lot, whatever, you know they're out there, and set them off there. That way, even if they get hurt by people, it's not going to affect them. It's not going to upset them. It's not going to scare the animals, because you know what? It's not in their vicinity. It's not in their vicinity whatsoever. So maybe that's what people need. So maybe that's what people, in my opinion, should do. If they're too impatient not to wait to the actual 4th of July day and night to set them off. Because if you're too impatient to wait till then, and thank you, happy 4th of July to Bugs, basically an online friend that goes by the name, not the character. But anyway, wait till then. Wait till then, in my opinion. Just wait till you get to that moment, to that day. Hey, so what I'm trying to say. But if you can't wait, then you know what you do? You know what you do? Like I said, go to those open areas. Go to the open areas you know are available to you as we speak. Go to those areas that are available to you as we speak, those open areas, you know they're out there. And if there's nothing around, which there shouldn't be, in those empty parking lots, that's where you can set them off. I mean, where do you think maybe some of these fireworks get set off at, for some of these shows that are still going to be going on? Because there are some shows that are still going to happen across the country. Where do you think they're setting them off? In empty areas where they know nothing can catch on fire. So to me, if you're so impatient not to wait, you're so impatient not to wait until the 4th of July, the actual 4th of July day. If you're too impatient, then you know what you do? You know what you do? Okay? You go to those empty areas. Make sure nobody is around or nothing's around. Down in those empty areas, mostly empty parking lots, and set them off there. So like I said, set them off there. And you know what will happen if you do that? Not only is it safer for everybody else, not only is it safer for everybody else. Hold on for a second. Do this. Doing something real quickly. Hold on. But it doesn't get you or your friends in trouble. It doesn't. It doesn't get you or yourselves in trouble. It doesn't get people upset. It doesn't get people calling on you for scaring the heck out of them, waking them up in the middle of the night, or scaring their animals to the point that, like I said, the animals end up heaving a little bit the next morning. Because even if they hear it, guess what? It's not that close, and it's not that hard, and it's not that upsetting. So yeah, honestly, just in my opinion, people should just be patient. I do apologize, I'm a little distracted right now. I'm also linking this onto my DeviantArt account. like I said, like I said, in my honest opinion, I think they should just honestly wait. Because again, like I said earlier, because they can do this, believe it or not, they can do this in some way, some shape, form, or fashion. Do you want your ability to light fireworks off on the 4th of July taken away from you on that day? On the day of independence, celebrating freedom and all that? You want that taken away because you couldn't wait? I wouldn't. I wouldn't want it taken away. So I think, in my honest opinion, they should just wait. It's not that hard. And you know what? If I'm the family of that individual that likes to do that and disturb people and get the police called upon my house, you know what I do? I take those illegals, I take the other fireworks, and I hide them. And if they ask where they are, I say, "Look, you'll get them, but you'll get them on the 4th. If you have to treat them like a child, you got to treat them like a child." That's the way I look at it. If you have to treat them like a child, you got to treat them like a child. That's the way I look at it. Because again, if you, because again, like I said, if they're not going to, do the right thing, then they're not going to do the right thing and wait. And guess what? They shouldn't be allowed. Then, in my honest opinion, they shouldn't be allowed to do them. They're not going to be responsible. They're not going to wait. Because, in my honest opinion, they should wait. They should wait until the official holiday. It makes more sense. It causes less stress for them. It causes less stress for any family they may live with. Just wait. Don't be impatient, in my opinion. Don't be impatient. So, yeah. I mean, even my friend here said that he and his friends got in trouble for doing something like that on St. Patrick's Day once. And again, you want to get in trouble? You want to possibly lose your chance of lighting fireworks again? Then, in my opinion, be patient. That's all I ask. Just be patient about it. It's the thing is, here's the thing: patience pays off. I'll give you a good example of what I mean. Here's what I mean. Okay. Yesterday, of course, I got fireworks, which I'm going to light at my sister's later today. But here's the thing. I didn't know if I was going to have enough. So I waited. I waited to build up my money because one of the things they allow us to do, that my job has an association with, is get an advancement on our upcoming checks. So even if so in other words, it's like this. Last week I was able to do it with my check last week. This week I was able to get a little bit more of an advancement because of what's going on with this pandemic. So I was able to get an extra advancement. And I thought, okay, I got this. This is going to help out with fireworks, might help out with little groceries, whatever. Then something happened that a lot of us usually expect to happen between now and, well, for this year, between the beginning of the year till, a few weeks from now. which is usually reserved for a few weeks into April, basically I had a little bit of a lot more extra in there than I expected. A lot more extra in my account than I expected. So, long story short, I was able to not only get groceries, but I was able to get, some fireworks as well. Maybe not as much as I would like, but, just enough. So, anyway, like I said, I was able to do that. And what was I? What was I saying? I lost train of thought there. Like I said, it's early. Yeah. Like I said, I was patient enough to wait until I had plenty of money to, get loaned to me through the Even app that's, like I say, connected to my job to possibly get fireworks. Because if I was impatient, I could have just taken maybe $50 out when it was when it was close to that $50 limit and say, hey, I'm going to use this, no problem, none. Or I could have waited till I got to $128, which it was rounded out to, or close, or $130, I should say, which it was rounded out to at one point. And I said, oh, I could do this. But I waited. I waited till it got to a certain point that I could be like, okay, now this is enough to wait. Even if I got like a $15 one, like let's say, where's the advertisement at? Like, of course, I went to TNT, one of the more popular distributors around the country. And my thought process was, okay, even if I have a little bit after getting groceries or whatever I need to get for groceries done, I can still get something like, let's say, the 25 or the 35, right? I can get one of those. But I didn't. I didn't get one of those. Instead, I ended up getting basically this bad boy. And the reason I was able to get that, because like I said, I was patient enough to wait till the number got to the advancement got to a number that I felt comfortable with. But then, of course, like a lot of people this time of year, I got something else as well that kind of helped out substantially in the end on both ends of the spectrum. So that was pretty cool. Thank the Lord for that. But yeah, like I said, if I wanted to be impatient, I could have taken out what was in there on Thursday or on Wednesday, which was a lot less, and done it then. But I didn't. I was patient enough. I waited. And that's what I think these people should do. They should wait. They should have the patience. Because you can't tell me that what happened a couple of houses down from me on Monday night, because I think that was Monday night. What happened Monday night? You can't tell me. For one, no other police department or fire department's gotten an emergency or non-emergency call given to them because of something like that. And that's what happens when people do not want to wait. They don't. Things like this occur. Things like this happen. I mean, here's the thing. I was taking care of something that was needed to be taken care of. I was taking care of something that needed to be taken care of, right? Something important. And basically, long story short, these M80s kept going off, like I mentioned earlier. And like I said in that one video I did on Tuesday, and then the second time they went off, it went off even louder and stronger than before. And then that's when I looked out the window and I saw flames. That would explain that one video that I have that shows you the aftermath of what occurred. of what happened, the fire engines and all that. The point is, people need to be patient. Patience is a virtue. Again, if you want to entertain the kids with fireworks and everything, fine, but set off the small ones. Set off the little sparklers. Let them do this with the sparklers if they have to, or set off this or that. That's not so harmful. It'll make noise. It might shake up and the animals here and there, but it's not as bad. The key thing here is be patient. Don't be in a hurry. Do not be in a hurry. Be patient. Because patience will pay off in the long run. It will. It will. So, in my honest opinion, I know this first topic on this video has gone a little long, but in my honest opinion, I think people should just wait and just be patient, because before you know it, 4th of July will be here, and you'll be able to do it, in a more legal way, even if you are using illegals, which you shouldn't. And I guarantee you, I'll say this about illegals, the M80s and all that. You think people are going to be able to get away with them right now? I've got a feeling this might be the last 4th, or any kind of be the last 4th of July, or any kind of celebration involves these kind of things. This will be the last time you even see or hear them for a while, because I don't think the governments and the local governments and all that are going to want to stand for them anymore. So I think this year might be the year where things get, and or at least this is why I think after this 4th of July, the M80 kind of stuff is going to get kiboshed, if you know what I mean. All right, so anyway, with that said, I know that one went a little long, so I do apologize. On to our next topic, and our next topic was one that really surprised me when I read this on Facebook, courtesy of comicbook.com and cbr.com and stuff like that, and I think other outlets, entertainment outlets. But basically, last week, Zootopia topped the Avengers at the box office over the past weekend. Yeah, last weekend, Zootopia beat the Avengers at the box office. Now you might say, well, how is that possible? Well, we do know that a lot of theaters are trying to reopen, right? And we know that with the recent spike in the virus across the country and across certain parts of the country, a lot of the major theater cinema chains like Cinemark, Regal, AMC have kind of backtracked a little bit on the reopening. It's like they're going to hold off for a couple more weeks. Well, during that time, they, along with some locally independent theaters, have been opening up very casually and gradually across the country. And in these certain parts of the country where they've been able to slowly open up very gradually, they've been able to showcase some movies on the theaters to get people to come back to the theaters, to have them come back to go see a movie. So what they've been having to do is rely on movies that basically have already been seen in theaters, and by now have been not only seen on what I'm saying is not only by now have been bought and owned by people on Blu-ray and DVD and 4K, but it's also been seen on television like TBS, TNT, ABC, Disney, Freeform. Those kind of thing, those kind of places. So basically, they are now relying on those films once again. And what's happened is what's going on is what they're doing is they're relying on a lot of the films that were huge successes at the box office when they were in the theaters to help draw audiences back. So even though, like I said, and I got a little distracted there with a little pop-up there from the Brony Avenger, notification of a new video of his. But like I said, basically, Zootopia and Zootopia and the movies Zootopia and the Avengers, like I said, are those kind of movies that they've been in theaters. They were successes in the theaters, huge successes, and they've already been, and ever since then have been distributed onto home video in all different formats, from DVD, Blu-ray, 4K, and even streaming, to being broadcast on places like on networks and channels like TBS, TNT, Freeform, ABC, you name it. Well, because it was such box office successes, theaters have decided to rely on them again to bring the audiences back to the theaters. And by doing this, Zootopia was able to do something that nobody thought would be capable of happening. They were able to top the Avengers. Yeah. The first of the 4 Avenger movies, they were able to top. The one that was the first culmination of phase 1 of the MCU, Zootopia was able to topple in this past weekend. And that's saying something. That shows you the staying power. It shows you the staying power of, a property like Zootopia, that even upon a re-release in theaters because of what's going on, even if you take the whole pandemic out of the picture, it shows you the staying power of Zootopia, especially in these trying times. When you look at what's going on from two different perspectives or 2 different views, it shows you the staying power of that movie and the message that the movie is trying to convey. Because that message that Zootopia is trying to convey relates very strongly with what's going on now, which, in my opinion, helped basically allow it to top a movie like The Avengers because of the message it's sending. So, Zootopia topped The Avengers at the box office upon its re-release over the past weekend, and I think honestly it all has to do with the fact that its message that it's trying to convey to the audience, to all families of all ages, resonates right now with what's going on. So I think, in my honest opinion, that's why it succeeded. I don't think it succeeded because, it's a Disney film and all that. No. It succeeded, ladies and gentlemen, because it has a message in there that, is very relatable to what's going on today. And I think everyone that went and saw that at those theaters that had it, along with the Avengers, knows that. I think they knew what they were doing. So, yeah, Zootopia topped the Avengers at the box office over the past weekend. And the question is, could Zootopia continue to do something like that if other theaters, upon the time that Regal, AMC, and Cinemark officially make their announcements to, reopen, and let's say Zootopia, which is one of the films on tap to be released or re-released to help bring back the audiences, will it be able to do what they did over this past weekend again? Will they be able to do it? And I think, honestly, they could. I think, honestly, they could. I think, honestly, there's a good chance that they could. But yeah, I was surprised by that announcement that, Zootopia beat the Avengers, because I looked at that article and I was like, well, what does this mean? And when I read more into it, I was like, okay, that makes sense. Well, I mean, what I'm trying to say is the more I read into it, I was like, okay, that makes sense. If that's why I beat it at the box office. But again, it shows you not only the staying power of Zootopia and characters like Judy Hopps and Nick Wilde and Gazelle and all this. There's Morning Cast, cast, if you will. But again, it's the message that I think they're trying to convey that people relate to. And I think that's what helped Zootopia win in the long run. I really do. I think it honestly helped them win in the long run. And again, I do apologize for any interruptions that may occur in a while throughout this broadcast. But like I said, I think that's what helped it top movies like the Avengers at the box office over the past weekend, because not just of its memorable characters, but because of the fact that it has a message in there that is very relatable to what's going on. And I think that's why Zootopia was able to succeed when it did. That's why I think it was able to succeed when it did, basically. So, yeah, Zootopia, over this past weekend, if you were one of the people fortunate enough to see Zootopia, yeah, it succeeded. Well, not succeeded, but it it was it was the number one movie at the box office, even upon re-release. So, yeah, 100%. Okay. Like I said, it was the number one movie upon re-release. So, again, it just shows you the staying power that it has, and that when AMC, Regal, and Cinemark finally reopen, which I think will probably be maybe 2 weeks after the original reopening dates, and Disney plans to have something like Zootopia as one of its offerings to help out, I think honestly they can do it again. I really do. I think they can honestly do it again. And that's just my opinion. It's just my opinion, but I think they can honestly do it. I think Zootopia can honestly do it again. I think it could be a top box office, if not a number one box office attraction, to get people into the theaters to enjoy the movies again, not just as a family, Emily, but because I think word's going to get around that, hey, this was number one before, and maybe the reason they're going to give is because of the message it's trying to convey. So, yeah, Zootopia, in closing on this topic, beat the Avengers at the box office this past weekend. And I think, honestly, once, the reopenings officially happen, maybe a couple weeks after the official reopening date was supposed to be, I think they'll be able to do it again. I really do. All right. So number four. Number four was really interesting because this news, I guess you could say, broke over the past weekend. Well, not past weekend, but this past week. First of all, we all know what this is, right? This is Sonic Forces. Say, hit the wrong thing there. Like I said, we all know what this is, right? This is Sonic Forces. You know, and Sonic Forces does have a, I think a mobile edition. I think it has a mobile edition, basically. And basically that mobile edition, which is Sonic Forces Battle or Sonic Forces Dash, and then of course Sonic Dash itself on mobile games. Well, here's the thing. It was recently announced that the two comic book characters, and I'll show you who they are. Maybe it won't. Hold on for a second. Sorry about that. Let's check something here. These two characters, I think you can see that. Let's see. No, bright there, isn't it? And focus. There we go. Yeah, but those two characters right there, Tangle and Whisper. This is Tangle, and this is Whisper right there. Those two characters, you can see a bit better. We have a Tangle and Whisper here. Well, it was made, and the announcement was made by Sega that, not just by Sega, but by IGN and comicbook.com and stuff like that, that these two characters here, like I said, Tangle's the gray one, the other one's Whisper. Those two characters are now going to be inserted into the Sonic Forces mobile game, the battle game, as well as Sonic Dash, making them essentially the first comic book exclusive characters to be added to a video game or a Sonic game of any kind. And when fans heard this, they were ecstatic. And that's when all of a sudden the whole hashtag rally for Sally came around. Yeah. There's a hashtag, if I can find it here. Hashtag rally for Sally going on because mainly a lot of people looked at this and said, hey, if Tangle and Whisper, who are IDW comic exclusive characters, can get in, then why can't get into a game? But basically, the mindset is, if Tangle and Whisper can get into a game, and they're IDW exclusive characters for the IDW book, why can't Sally, right? So anyway, this is what popped up. This is what really surprised me. So this popped up, and this was for, what was it? Oh yeah, Speed. I think it's Sonic Force. Yeah, Speed Battle and Sonic Dash. Those are the mobile games that both Tangle and Whisper are on. And then this came onto the thing. Let's see if you can really, I don't know if you can really see that because it's bright. Let me turn on. Let me see if I can do something. Turn down the brightness. There we go. Now you might be able to see it a little better. Yeah, but this right here, this whole let's turn it down just a bit more again. There we go. I had to turn it down just a bit. There's this whole rally for Sally. This image popped up. This image popped up where it says, "Rally for Sally, Sally for Dash, Sally for Speed Battle." And they're all hashtagged. It's hashtag Sally for Speed Battle, hashtag Rally for Sally, and hashtag Sally for Dash. And it's like, I was surprised. I was thinking, when I saw that image, I was thinking, what's this about? And then, of course, like I said, and this was a little after, I think, right around the same time I read the articles through IGN and comicbook.com and all that. It just really like surprised me. But here's the thing: to a lot of fans, it shows you how passionate they are about fan bases, about certain fan franchises, certain interpretations of franchises, or certain characters when it comes to that franchise. And Sally has been one of those most popular characters over the past 20 something years, since 1993. So it's been 27 years. She's been 26 and a half, 27 years that she's been a popular fixture. So yeah, it's like, that's unbelievable. That's unbelievable for any kind of character, even if that character's not been in anything else besides, let's say, comics and animation. The only time she's ever been in a video game officially was in the bonus stage for Sonic Spinball after the first stage. And that was her original pink design that they utilized. But here's what and this was posted 4 days ago, right? 4 days ago that one was posted. And then here's what Raven B. Passion said. Raven B. Passion said 13 hours ago, this is what they said. They said, not even a week, and Sally's popularity is growing by the now. Okay, this is what Raven B. Passion said. They said this, and this was 13 hours ago. They said this. They said, not even a week, and Sally's popularity is growing by the numbers. Party like it's 1993. So yeah, and you got other people like Z-Shock. You got the Derpda. You got a lot of people here. Let's see. You can have. You have Meath Island. So yeah, you got a lot of people that are messaging or remessaging and retweeting the hashtag of Rally for Sally. And again, it shows you. Hold on for a second. Just checking something there. But like I said, it shows you basically like I said, the popularity of her character. Even 26 and a half years later. And like I said, the only official game she's ever been in was the Sonic Spinball bonus stage. People have actually, I'll show you. In fact, I've shown you here on Facebook anyway. Not on Facebook, but YouTube anyway, with some of the gameplay. Let's see if I can find it. Maybe actually, I want you to read that as best you can. I want you to read that as best you can. I don't know if you can. So we'll have to lower lower that a little bit. Pen sideways, I guess. I'll try that. I want you to read that if you can. These two down here are Sally Acorn in Sonic 1 and Sonic 2, and these are the recent revisions. And above that is Bunny Rabbits. You know what I'm saying? Those are the only kind of games that she's ever been in the closest. You know what I mean? Of any kind, but not really officially. You see, the Sonic 2 game and the Sonic 1 game are hacks. People actually took time and effort to put Sally and even put Bunny into these games and make them feel like they've always been part of it. They've basically structured it to where all their abilities that you connect with them or you relate to them are available. So basically officially, like I said, it's not the first time she's been in a game because she was in the game basically in the bonus stage of Sonic Spinball back when that came out after the first stage. And now also she is in a game, but unofficially, but in an unofficial hack, I should say, of Sonic 1 and 2 as a playable character, as the main playable character. Same with Bunny Rabbit. And like I said, their character, the people put enough time and effort into these characters that basically it feels like they were always part of it because their abilities are connected to it. I mean, if you check the videos here on my channel of me playing these hacks, you'll see exactly what I mean. They basically adapt to what the character is how the character would probably be if they'd been officially in the game. So overall, it's not surprising that fans want to see a character like Sally in the games because, they look at her and they say, okay, this character is more relatable or more feels like a more natural fit in a video game setting with Sonic than, let's say, and I say this with like let's say, and I say it with no offense, an Amy Rose. That's how they feel, that she's more of a natural fit as a playable character than Amy Rose at times. Again, no offense. Both can work in that environment, but that's how some fans feel. She's more of a natural fit than Amy. And that's saying something. That is definitely saying something. So yeah, Sally is getting a lot of love of it. It's getting a ton of love right now because of the fact that because it was announced that the IDW comic exclusive characters of Tangle the Lemur and Whisper the Fox are going to be part of Sonic Dash and Sonic Forces Speed Battle, the mobile games. As we speak, if not right now. I think they are available right now. So that's why a lot of people are excited, because they're looking at that and saying, hey, if those characters that are comic exclusive characters can get in, then so can Sally. So can Bunny. So they feel that there is hope there to see that occur, to see that happen and become a reality. And that's why you have the hashtag Sally Rally for Sally. You have the hashtag Rally for Sally. You have the hashtag Sally for Speed Battle. You have the hashtag Sally for Dash. That's why you have it. And here's the thing, I would love to see that happen. I would love to see, fans wanting something that they've been wanting for over 20 plus years, 25 plus years, finally happen in some way. In some way, I would love to see it happen. Honestly, I would. Sorry for a bit of the camera shaking there. But like I said, I would love for it to happen. I'm not denying that. I would love to see it occur. But the only thing that I think is holding it back, is like I said, the only thing that I think is holding it back, or not holding it back, but I think the only reason I should say for Tangle and Whisper being involved is maybe there was a deal made. There was a deal that was made that allowed this to occur, that allowed it to happen. And that's just my opinion. That's just my opinion. I think there was maybe a deal made between IDW and Sega saying, when the time is right, we'll add these characters to the video games, but we just won't say when. Like I said, they just won't say when. So, yeah. Tango and Whisper. They're in the games now. And to a lot of fans of the comics in the SAT-AM, this is the first step. It's a major first step in probably seeing characters like Sally and Bunny and Antoine and Rotor maybe in the games as well down the line. So yeah, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool to see. But as I always say in my video, and anybody always says, it's an old saying as old as time. We'll have to wait and see what the outcome will be, or what the outcome of the whole hashtag Rally for Sally will be. And if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. And again, it might be because there's a deal between both sides to allow those characters in over someone like Sally and Bunny and all that. But we'll wait and see. If it happens, great. If it doesn't, we have the hacks. We'll just look at it that way. Okay, so the fourth and final topic we're going to talk about here. Fourth and final topic we're going to talk about is something that really surprised me. Caught me by surprise. It caught everybody by surprise. Chris Bores has been teasing an epic trailer for his next review, which is going to be Dick Tracy, the NES game. But he said it was going to be epic, the keyword epic, and we didn't know what he meant. That was until we got towards the end of it. It's until we got towards the end of it. And basically, it was revealed what I'm trying to say is, hold on for a second. Okay, sorry. Like I said, it was revealed at the end of the trailer. Like I was saying, it was revealed at the end of the trailer what the epic tease was about, or basically what the epicness of it was about that Chris pointed out. And Chris Bores, known as the IrateGamer, really shocked us all when in the trailer what? I gotta check something here, folks. Okay, I just checked something. Well, like I said, it was announced. Well, basically, the epicness that he meant in the trailer on the teaser of basically why it was going to be epic was the reveal. Because, like I said, Chris Bores, one of his personas is known as the Irate Gamer. He said one of his personas is known as the Irate Gamer. Been doing it since the late 2000s, 2008, 2007. And a couple of years ago, he retired the character after he did his Duck Hunt review. And he continued to post content, mostly paranormal stuff like ghost hunting and interviews he would do on television networks, news channels, well, locally, that is. As well as he would also contribute still to his history of video games series. He would still contribute to his Irate the 80s series. And then recently he was doing what was known as a Chris Neo show, where he would basically look back at certain games he's already talked about, and he would basically go more into depth about them. sometimes basically what you can accomplish with those games when it came to the peripheral known as the Game Genie. And the first one he did on that was on Super Mario Brothers and the different worlds you can unlock with the Game Genie, which I thought was, really cool. But anyway, I guess those Chris Neo segments became so popular, and also due to what's going on in the world, Chris decided to bring back the Irate Gamer. Now, I don't know if he just did this on his own and it had nothing to do with what's going on in the world right now, or he saw the popularity he saw the enjoyment fans were having with the Chris Neo show, probably saw the similarities with the Irate Gamer and said, hey, maybe I should bring this guy back. But probably decided, how can he do it that's similar but new? And I think one of the ways he's doing it now is he's getting people to collab with, as well as he's getting guest stars, just small cameo appearances, if you will, by celebrity. Sorry about that. Just check something. Anyway, like I said, he even gets small cameos by celebrities. Like he recently got Ernie Hudson of Ghostbusters to make a cameo appearance during his return episode, during his Ghostbusters, when he did a review of the Ghostbusters games on NES, Atari, and I think that's about it. But now in the second one, which is on Dick Tracy, like I said, the big reveal at the end of the trailer, or throughout the trailer, was the fact that he's going to be doing a crossover collab with the Angry Video Game Nerd, the character by James Rolfe. So James Rolfe and Chris Boers, I guess, finally got together, met through Skype or whatever, and came up with the idea to finally do a crossover between the respective characters, IrateGamer and Angry Video Game Nerd. And the reason this is so, I guess you could say, I guess as Chris puts it, so epic for a lot of the viewers, is ever since Chris started, a little after James did, people have been comparing the two. Basically, people have been saying that Chris's Irate Gamer character was a ripoff of James' AVGN character. And some would say that AVGN would be a ripoff, if not steal ideas, and whatever, similar steal ideas or try to be similar to, Chris's Irate Gamer character. So people would make those comparisons. And the way I always viewed it, because I enjoyed both of them. I enjoyed both Chris and James's characters, respectively. And I always viewed them as being in two different worlds, two different universes. They never acknowledged each other, even though there were similarities, because they existed in two different universes, two different worlds, if you will. And I think that's how a lot of people viewed them. They didn't view them as being in the same universe. They viewed them as being in two different worlds. So I don't think anybody, so that's why I think they were so popular and why people would make the comparisons. And Chris and James never acknowledged each other in any of the videos, as AVGN or as Irate or even as themselves, because I think they kind of knew that fans viewed them. In my opinion, I think they kind of knew that fans viewed them as being in two different worlds, two different realities. That was until, and I think you can still find this on the Chris's IrateGamer channel, it's a Chris Neo channel here on YouTube. That is until Chris was accused by someone called Archfiend for being basically, I think, a ripoff or something like that. And Chris took the time to finally do a video, and Chris, I should say, took the time to do a video to finally address these accusations by Archfiend. And it was through this video that Chris did that he finally acknowledged James, by name and by his character. You have to watch the video, but Chris does, I think, a great job at explaining that basically he's not a ripoff. It's just, I think, coincidence that a lot of things fell into place at the same time. Like when, Chris did a review on Ninja Turtles. People would say, well, it's kind of around the same time that, well, not around the same time, but it's kind of like a year or so after James did his. But the big difference, though, I think that Chris would point out, and I don't know if he pointed this out in that video, was he didn't just do Ninja Turtles 1, the first Ninja Turtles game on NES by Ultra Games. But he also talked about Ninja Turtles 2, the arcade. He talked about Ninja Turtles 3, Manhattan Project, Turtles in Time. So he was able to do more talk about more of the Ninja Turtle games than, let's say, James did. So yeah, that's the only time, like I said, Chris, I think, acknowledged the Angry Video Game Nerd or James Wolfe by name was when he had to respond and basically declassify these accusations that were put upon him. So again, though, that was the only time he ever acknowledged James by name. And ever since then, people still treated it like they would in two different worlds, still treated their characters as being in two different realities that, because of that, they would never cross over. They would never, interact. That is until this. That is until, like I said, this teaser trailer dropped by Chris, and it was throughout that you started not only seeing past images or past scenes and everything from previous reviews that Chris did as IrateGamer, but you also started to see scenes from previous reviews that, James did as an Angry Video Game Nerd, and it wouldn't be till the end where all of a sudden you see James in his AVGN persona sitting, sitting on his futon, looking into the camera, holding the NES controller, looking into the camera and going, IrateGamer. And then you see Chris's responses, his IrateGamer self, going, Angry Video Game Nerd. So yeah, it's so yes, what fans have been expecting. Well, not expecting, but it was a huge surprise for a lot of fans. And not only was a huge surprise for a lot of fans and everything, but what James said at the end in his AVGN persona really summed it up. Because after you got that moment, then you got the title card saying IrateGamer versus Angry Video Game Nerd. James comes back on as, like I said, his AVGN persona and goes like, were you expecting this? So yeah, I don't think anybody expected it. I mean, they were hoping for it. They dreamed about it. Obviously, they were fans of both, but they never expected it. And now we're going to get it. But yeah, Irate Gamer and Angry Video Game Nerd, both Chris Boers and James Rolfe's respective uh, video game reviewer personas are finally crossing over. And now the question is, does this open the door for Chris to take the Irate Gamer character and have him cross over with other characters? Like, could we see Chris's Irate Gamer character cross over with Doug Walker's Nostalgia Critic? Or have him cross over with Andre Meadows' Black Nerd Comedy? Or could we see him cross over with Angry Joe Vargas, then Kara? Because these are personas you wouldn't think Irate would do. But hey, maybe you could still do them. But no, maybe that's going to happen. I mean, let's not forget, Linkara, Lewis Lovehog, did a parody of Irate Gamer during his early years of atop the fourth atop the fourth wall. So it would be kind of surprising. So I would personally like to see a crossover between those two, because then you could have Chris and his Irate Gamer persona acknowledge Linkara's parody of him from years ago, and now he's here to not only get payback, but payback by having Linkara do a co-review with him on a video game, comic book video game from the NES era. So I could see something like that occurring. I can see something like that happening, and people enjoying it. I really could. Like I said, I could see him doing it with Nostalgia Critic. I could see him doing it with Angry Joe Vargas. Heck, I can see him crossing over with Pat the NES Punk, Pat Couturier. Because Pat's done like a few collabs with Angry Joe, well, not Angry Joe, but with James as the Angry Video Game Nerd. So I could see him doing that. I can see him crossing over with someone like, let's say, Scott the Uds and all that. Oh, Scott the Waz. So yeah, I can see it a lot. I can see a lot of it happening. I can see Chris collabing with a lot of these guys now. But then you ask, well, what about AVGN, James's character? Well, James has crossed over with a variety of people, but I could see him crossing over with some other personalities he's never crossed over with yet. Like, he basically what was I trying to say? Yeah, he basically, like I said, James is James's AVGN character has crossed over with Nostalgia Critic on several occasions. He's crossed over with Pat the NES Punk on several occasions. But I could see things like, because he's kind of crossed over, but not entirely with the gaming historian. I could see that. I could see the door opening for James to cross over with the likes of, Linkara. I mean, he's kind of done that, but not fully. I can see him doing that with Angry Joe. He's kind of done that, but not fully. So I can see James finally, maybe through this as well, doing a lot more crossovers. I can see it. I honestly could. And heck, I could see him crossing over with the likes of maybe this opens the door for someone like Bob Show, Rob Thomas, or Rob the Wonderful, or Bennett the Sage to cross over with Angry Video Game Nerd and Irate Gamer. This opens the door for those kind of things to happen now. And I know you're thinking, well, you're probably exaggerating. Maybe I am, maybe I'm not. Because again, did we ever think we would see Irate Gamer versus Angry Video Game Nerd? I mean, the way they kept always just acting like they didn't, acting even in character that the other didn't exist, that they were in another world? Did we ever think it was going to happen? No, we didn't. So I'm not putting anything off the table. I'm not putting anything off the table. I think eventually some crossovers that I just mentioned probably will happen. Again, I could see more than likely IrateGamer crossing over with Pat the NES Punk and Angry Joe. I could see that. I can see him crossing over with Linkara and doing a story based around Linkara doing a parody of him, and then getting payback now years later by having him do a collab review on a NES-based video game, or NES-based on an NES video game based on a comic book. So I can see that stuff. I can see it happening, and I think people would honestly enjoy it. And for James, again, I see the same thing going on there. I see him crossing over with, the likes of a Bennett Sage, of a Rob the Wonderful, of a Bob Show, stuff like that. And the same with, IrateGamer. I can see Irate teaming up with Bennett. I can see him teaming up with Bob Show. I can see him teaming up with Rob the Wonderful. I can see a lot of that. And again, you may think I'm just exaggerating, and I might be, but possibilities are endless now, guys. Because again, these are two very similar characters created by two different people that nobody thought would ever cross over, because they acted like just like the fans, looked at them, acted like they never existed, and now you're starting to see a lot of that come forth, and now you're starting to see the crossover and the acknowledgement of existence happening this summer. But yeah, we're finally getting this crossover that, if you're a fan of both, you never thought would happen, it's finally happening. And the way it's happening is both are going to be collabing on the Dick Tracy game. That's going to be interesting. It's going to be really interesting. So anyway, though, guys, I'm looking forward to it, and that's about it. That's really about it. So anyway, that's all I can say for this Topics on My Mind video for the 4th of July, 2020. Hope you all have a safe hope you all have a safe 4th of July and are responsible in lighting your fireworks, and don't go too crazy or anything. And if you're going to get a little buzzed, if you know what I mean, that's fine too. Just don't go overboard, as some people may. But anyway, though, guys, thank you all for watching. Really appreciate it. Again, have a safe and happy 4th. And I hope you enjoyed this. Like I said, I hope you guys enjoyed this. Like I said, I was trying to say something about that. I hope you all have a safe and happy 4th. Be responsible. If you're going to get a little buzz, that's fine. Just don't go overboard. And that's really all I can say. So, till next time, guys, take care. Oh, yeah, that's what I was trying to say is I hope you enjoyed this first Topics on My Mind with my new Rofeer. That's RFEER 1080p webcam. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope the sound came out good with the built-in mic, and probably going to see a lot more with this camera in the future. But again, hope you guys, let me know what you guys thought about the first live stream I've done with this officially, not a test, but officially. And that's all I can say. So anyway, that's really all I can say. But thank you all for watching. Take care. God bless. And I am out. Again, have a safe, happy 4th, be responsible, and don't go too crazy. Peace.